Greetings and welcome to our informative video on small blind 3-betting ranges in poker, specifically focusing on no-limit hold'em. In this video, we will delve into the concept of out-of-position 3-betting and its significance in the game. In this video, we will cover several important aspects of 3-betting from the big blind in poker. Firstly, we will discuss why 3-betting from the big blind is a valuable strategy. Understanding the advantages and objectives of 3-betting in this position is essential for maximizing your profitability and gaining an edge over your opponents. Next, we will explore the ideal ranges for 3-betting from the big blind. These ranges are carefully crafted to include a mix of strong value hands and hands with good post-flop playability. By understanding and implementing these ranges, you can make more informed decisions and put pressure on your opponents. Furthermore, we will provide a summary of the ranges we have covered throughout the video series. This summary will help solidify your understanding and serve as a handy reference for future use. Finally, we will address the caveats and considerations to keep in mind when employing these 3-betting ranges from the big blind. Poker is a dynamic game, and factors such as opponent tendencies, table dynamics, and stack sizes can impact the optimal range selection. We will provide insights on how to adapt and adjust your ranges to specific situations. By the end of this video, you will have a comprehensive understanding of the importance of 3-betting from the big blind, the optimal ranges to utilize, and the caveats to consider. This knowledge will empower you to make more strategic and profitable decisions at the poker table. Let's now discuss why we want to 3-bet from the big blind. One reason is to build a pot with our premium hands. When we have strong holdings like aces and kings, simply calling may not maximize the value we can extract from these hands. By 3-betting, we can create a larger pot and potentially increase our potential winnings. Another reason is to maintain balance in our 3-betting strategy. If we only 3-bet with our strongest hands and call with everything else, observant opponents can easily pick up on this pattern and adjust their play accordingly. By incorporating a mix of strong hands and some weaker hands into our 3-betting range, we create deception and make it more difficult for opponents to accurately read our hand strength. Furthermore, 3-betting can create fold equity and equity denial. When we 3-bet with certain hands, we increase the likelihood of our opponents folding their weaker holdings, especially when they are dominated by our hand. This allows us to win the pot immediately without needing to see a flop. Additionally, by 3-betting hands that have potential equity against our opponent's range, we deny them the opportunity to realize their equity and potentially outdraw us. By understanding and utilizing these reasons for 3-betting from the big blind, we can enhance our overall strategy, increase our profitability, and keep our opponents guessing. It's important to find the right balance and adapt our 3-betting strategy based on table dynamics, opponent tendencies, and game conditions. Let's take a closer look at the first range, which is against a Lowjack open. In this range, we aim to raise 2.1% of hands at a full frequency. This includes only aces, kings, and ace-king. The hands in blue represent the hands we want to 3-bet at a mixed frequency, which amounts to approximately 16.7% of the time. Within this range, queens are 3-bet around 66% of the time, while middling suited connectors and queen 8 to queen jack suited are 3-bet around 35% of the time. The lower suited king x hands are 3-bet at a frequency of 20% to 25%. The remaining hands fall into the marginal category, being 3-bet around 15% of the time. It's important to note that although we 3-bet a significant number of hand combinations, the frequencies are relatively marginal. This is a common theme when 3-betting from the big blind. It's worth mentioning that there are gaps in this range that are not covered in this video, which are the hands that are called from the big blind. However, as this video specifically focuses on 3-betting, we won't consider those hands in this context. In total, when facing a Lowjack open, our goal is to 3-bet approximately 5.7% of the time. This range selection aims to strike a balance between value hands and hands with decent playability post-flop. Now, let's shift our focus to the 3-betting range from the big blind against a hijack position. In this range, we are aiming to 3-bet with approximately 2.5% of hands at a full frequency. This range consists of only queens, kings, aces, and ace-king hands. However, when it comes to the mixed frequency 3-betting range, we are looking to 3-bet a similar number of hands as we did against a Lowjack. This equates to approximately 16.1% of hands in this instance. Within this range, the middling suited connectors are 3-bet at a frequency of around 50%. All the suited jack and queen hands are 3-bet around 15% to 25% of the time. Additionally, the low offsuit aces and ace-2 suited are included in the 3-betting range. The remaining hands fall into the range of being 3-bet around 10% of the time. Overall, our goal is to 3-bet approximately 6.3% of the time against a hijack position when playing from the big blind. This range selection aims to strike a balance between value hands and hands with favorable playability post-flop. Let's have a look at the 3-betting range from the big blind against a cutoff position. In this range, our objective remains the same. 3-betting with the exact same hands at a full frequency. These hands include aces, kings, queens, and ace-king. This totals 2.5% of hands at a full frequency. To balance out this range, we need to consider the calling range and the mixed frequency 3-betting hands. For the mixed frequency hands, we are looking to 3-bet approximately 20.7% of hands. The weighting within this range has shifted, placing more emphasis on low-suited king and queen hands rather than suited connectors. Specifically, jacks are 3-bet 90% of the time within this range. All the ace-x hands are 3-bet around 25% of the time. King-queen, king-jack, and queen-jack offsuit are 3-bet approximately 35% to 40% of the time. The low-suited king-x, queen-x, and jack-x hands are 3-bet around 40% to 55% of the time. All other hands fall into the marginal category and are 3-bet at a frequency of around 10% to 15%. Combining these ranges, we are looking to 3-bet approximately 8.7% of the time from the big blind against a cutoff open. This range selection aims to strike a balance between value hands and hands with favorable post-flop playability. Now let's explore the 3-betting range from the big blind against the button position. In this range, we begin to widen our 3-betting frequency, allowing for more frequent 3-bets from the big blind. We are looking to 3-bet with approximately 4.4% of hands at a full frequency. This range includes all the premium hands mentioned earlier, along with the addition of jacks, tens, ace-queen, and ace-jack suited. Moving on to the mixed frequency hands, we aim to 3-bet approximately 28.5% of hands. Middling suited connectors are back in the range and are 3-bet around 40% to 50% of the time. Offsuit hands like king-jack and queen-10, as well as low-equity suited jack hands like jack-6 suited, are also 3-bet at a frequency of 40% to 50%. Ace-x offsuit hands are 3-bet around 35% of the time, with ace-5 offsuit being 3-bet at a higher frequency of 55%. The low-suited king and queen hands are 3-bet approximately 20% of the time, while nines are 3-bet around 50% of the time. All other remaining hands fall into the marginal category and are 3-bet at a frequency of around 10% of the time. In total, our goal is to 3-bet approximately 14.1% of the time against the button. This range expansion aims to apply more pressure and exploit the wide range of the button's opening range. Now we can look at the final range that is against the small blind. These ranges are the widest pre-flop ranges in 6-max poker. This range shouldn't be included in this video, as it is technically a 3-bet in position as the small blind is always out of position. We can have a quick look at the range now, but blind v blind play will be covered in its own series. In this range, we aim to 3-bet with 6.8% of hands at a full frequency. This includes all the premium hands mentioned earlier, along with tens and some outliers like ace-2 offsuit and 10-2 suited. The inclusion of ace-x hands with low kickers is due to their good blockers, making them suitable for 3-betting. 10-2 suited is an interesting hand to 3-bet, as it doesn't block any of the opponent's strong opening range, but it unblocks some mediocre hands that are happy to raise fold pre-flop, such as low king, queen, and jack-x hands. Furthermore, this range indicates that we want to 3-bet with 30.3% of hands at a mixed frequency. The percentages within this range can vary significantly, but for simplicity, we can 3-bet all the hands highlighted in blue at a frequency of around 30% to 50%. It's important to recognize that this range is complex, and a detailed analysis of it will be covered in a future video. However, it's worth noting that the low equity hands at the bottom of the range are 3-bet at a lower frequency to help balance the calling range from the big blind. Understanding the nuances of blind versus blind play and the intricacies of this specific range will be explored in depth in future videos. Stay tuned for more comprehensive coverage of this topic. Throughout the positions, we observe a trend where the 3-betting range widens as the open comes from later positions. The reason behind this is that later positions tend to have wider opening ranges, allowing for a wider range of hands to be 3-bet. A unique aspect of 3-betting from the big blind is the challenge of maintaining balance due to the high frequency of hands that can be called. Since the full frequency range consists mainly of premium hands, queens plus and ace-king, the mixed frequency hands take on a larger role in expanding the range. As the opens become wider from later positions, the 3-betting range may also widen to counterbalance and remain competitive. While we haven't discussed the calling ranges extensively in this video, it's important to note that the calling ranges tend to be similar against each open. The big blind receives a discount due to posting the blind, making the calling range more attractive. However, it's crucial to consider that calling can only be done when closing the action. If there is a limp followed by a raise, the calling range may differ as there is still action to be taken, potentially resulting in a back raise or other adjustments. It's crucial to keep in mind some important caveats regarding the ranges we've discussed. Firstly, these ranges are specifically designed for a typical 6-max online poker session. They assume a standard rake structure and do not take into account any additional factors such as straddles or extra posted blinds. Secondly, the ranges are based on 100 big blind effective stacks. It's essential to adjust our range according to the stack depth. When playing with deeper stacks, we can include more hands that have the potential to make the nuts. Conversely, with shallower stacks, we should focus more on playing strong top pair making hands. It's important to note that the ranges we've discussed are game theory optimal ranges. These ranges aim to achieve an equilibrium and are not specifically tailored for exploitative play. However, in real-world games, it's essential to adapt and exploit opponents' tendencies. If a player is calling too many 3-bets, we may want to avoid 3-betting dominated aces and lower-suited connectors, as they can often put us in tough spots post-flop. On the other hand, if a player is folding too frequently, we can increase our 3-bet frequency to take advantage of their propensity to fold. Additionally, we should consider an opponent's post-flop ability. Against skilled and competent players, it may be wise to 3-bet with a tighter range, aiming to reduce post-flop decisions and potential difficulties. Understanding these caveats and being able to adapt our ranges to exploit specific opponents' tendencies is a crucial skill in poker. Keep these considerations in mind as you apply the range concepts we've discussed, and stay tuned for future videos where we delve into exploiting opponents and adjusting based on their playing style. In this video, we explored the concept of 3-betting from the big blind in poker. We discussed the reasons for 3-betting, including building a pot for our premium hands and maintaining balance in our strategy. We then examined the specific 3-betting ranges from the big blind against different open positions, such as the Lowjack, Hijack, cutoff, and button. These ranges included a mix of premium hands and mixed frequency hands with good playability or exploitative potential. We also highlighted the caveats of using these ranges, emphasizing that they are based on game theory optimal (GTO) principles and may need to be adjusted based on individual player tendencies and table dynamics. Exploiting opponents and making optimal decisions require adaptability and customization of the ranges. Overall, understanding the reasons behind 3-betting, implementing appropriate ranges, and being adaptable to exploit opponents' tendencies are crucial for success in poker. And there you have it, an overview of 3-betting from the big blind and some insights on how to incorporate it into your game. Thank you for watching this video. If you found the content valuable, we would greatly appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more poker strategy videos. Remember, the key to improving in poker is practice. So, let's put our knowledge into action, continue learning, and strive to become better players. Stay tuned for more videos, and until next time, practice poker and good luck at the tables.